Good morning, good afternoon, good evening to all my wonderful and beautiful little lovelies out there. And how I love you all, so, and I hope that you're all super duper well, super duper wonderful, and super duper delicious. And that life is treating you most deliciously. Okay, so what's the time, Mr. Walls? So it's nearly 10 past 1 on the 15th of August 2026, my delicious babies, and I hope that we're feeling the love. We continue to feel the love, my little honey bunnies. Now then, so I have a couple of videos to advertise today, my delicious babies, okay? There is one to look back to, and then there's a very recent one. Okay, my delicious babies. So, and then, I'll have a little quick natter about something else. Okay, my delicious babies. So, I hope that wherever you are in the world, that life is treating you most deliciously. Okay, the sun has got his hat on, hip 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 hooray. Now it started out quite, I'd say, a little bit chillier than what it has been, my delicious babies. But the weather, there we are, seems to have picked up. Okay, so it is sunny outside, rather still. In the still of the night. Haven't sang that forever, have I, my delicious babies? Anyway, so apparently, I mean, I've just scrolled past it, my delicious babies, but is there some sort of wildfires or something, I don't know, going on in the West Mids? Well, I'm in the West Midlands, my delicious babies, but I'm not sure what part. But I've got to tell you this. Yesterday evening, I wouldn't mind it flipping interrupted, a video that I was listening to, my delicious babies. It happened to be our lovely David Icke, with everybody not in that way, apart from one. And I thought, and then all of a sudden, what was it, about 7 o'clock in the evening? Boo, 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 boo. I thought, what is this flipping silly damn nonsense now? You know what I mean? And this is some sort of emergency alert. I mean, it never made me jump or anything, you know what I mean, Mads, little babies, but I just never took a blind bit of notice. I thought, just stop your flipping boo, 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 so I can carry on listening to my video, Mads, little babies, you know what I mean? Has our poxy government got nothing better to do than send out these silly damn alerts? Yes, I did stumble there. I'm not changing my video. To our government, why don't you do something useful? Like look after the war veterans on the street. In fact, everybody on the street for that matter. Our dear mankind and their beautiful little babies who we call our sons and daughters. Why don't you look after theirs? Why don't you look after the elderly? You know what I mean? Why don't you be sure to reduce all of our bills, our gas, our electric, our water? Why don't you cut the food bills down so that ones are not having to pay extortionate amounts for a bag of sugar, for an example? Why don't you do that instead of sending these poxy silly alerts? Anyway, my delicious babies, I'm not talking to yourselves, my little beautifuls. I'm not raising my voice at yourselves. You do know that with myself by now. It's just that, this is useless. There we are, totally useless. And like myself, how many actually going to take any notice of it? You know what I mean? Flipping damn rink, man. Right now then, my delicious babies. So this first one happened to come up on my feed actually. Okay, so I am going to. In fact, I will tell you both of them. There we are. Both of these did. Okay, the second one the other day, and this one's just come up on my feed that I'm going to mention now. This upload happens to have 68.7 thousand subscribers. It is just over 30 minutes long. That's not coding. And both of the videos are on YouTube. And this uploader is called Capital T Travels. Okay, so it's 1L. Space, all in little writing, with and then a space, capital N for Nick. N-R-C-K, sorry. Okay, my delicious baby. So that's the uploader, Travels with Nick. Okay, I've personally never seen this uploader before. As with both of these channels, these will be one-offs that I'm advertising. Okay, my delicious baby. So the video should read. And by the way, I have talked about the YouTube. I have mentioned, sorry, I do not need to stumble here, other YouTubers who were talking about the changes to YouTube. My delicious babies, I mentioned it months and months and months ago, but anyway, your man here, he wants to discuss it, and fair enough, because he, he gets paid a little bit of change, you know what I mean, my delicious babies. So the video should read, YouTube's big 2027 changes and my channel's future. Okay, my delicious babies. So I'm just going to repeat this again for you. YouTube's big 2027 changes and my channel's future. Okay, my delicious babies. So what's this about? What's this about? Okay, so your man here now. I mean, it must have taken him some time, bless him, to build up his channel to where he has. But what he's talking about, and by the way, I'm not talking to any dear uploaders who or channels who already know about these changes. Changes, you know what I mean? I'm talking to our delicious little babies who are not aware of this, okay? So what's happened here is that he was talking about, at first you would need, what is it? 1,000 subscribers and 4,000 views. Well, yes, it was like that for a long time, wasn't it? 1,000 subscribers. No, and 4,000 of, what's it called? Ruby, please, baby, thank you. Ruby, please, baby, and thank you. She, someday she can be very naughty, my delicious babies. She does that nestling. Well, that's all good and well, but, when she puts a hole in the sofa, it's not very sociable. Okay, my delicious babies, but I love her to my heart. Okay, she's very beautiful, loudly beautiful, little Maisie Moo. Very beautiful, but little Maisie doesn't do what her little Rubes does. Okay, my delicious babies. Well, what he's saying is now it's changed from 4,000 to 8,000. Okay, so there's no surprise. Now, what he's saying about the shorts is that ones have got to get, is it 10 million? I mean, who's coming up with these numbers, my delicious little babies? Who's coming up with these numbers? I mean, how many really? Unless you seem to have the right know-how. You know what I mean, my delicious little babies? Where just automatically, you're always getting super duper high numbers. But for most, I mean, they'd be lucky if they made, for some channels, bless them, and it's not funny at all, but they'd be lucky if they get 500. You know what I mean, my delicious baby? So some, they're lucky if they get 50. Let alone flipping 10 million. Are these having an effing laugh, man? Proper jokers, man, isn't it? You know what I mean? So anyway, he's talking about all of this and he's explaining how long it takes to edit. Now, I've got to be honest with you, my delicious babies, I do not have the first clue. Okay, what I am going to say here is, my delicious babies, if I really wanted to learn it, okay, just like anything, I'm a bit like an all-rounder, I'm like a spud that someone knows a potato. I would learn. There we are. I would learn it, but I do not want to. Just like I'm very thankful for my subscribers, but that is not really what this is about. The most important thing. So thank you to any subscribers. Thank you for any views, for any likes, for the occasional comments. I'm always very thankful. However, I'm not here for subscribers. I'm here because what's more important is to get, there we are, my videos out. The information I'm talking about, not my videos, the information. Do you see what I mean, Martin babies? That's what this is, there we are, about. But for many, like this man, flipping Jehovah's Witnesses are flipping round again, do they not know when to give up? You know what? I really have a thing about them, you know. You know what I mean? I mean, look how many, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I mean, look at them. You need to see them, Martin babies. I mean, all the time. They're always round here now. Do they not get the message? Because for most, they will not even answer the door. Others cannot wait, you know, just politely speaking, to shut the damn door in the boat races very politely now, very nicely, you know what I mean? Oh, goodness me. I could carry on about this, but I'm not going to now. Delicious babies. Let me get back to the matter in hand. Because you know the Myrna dear keeps you not so friendly quack quack away. It's better out than him. Anyway, they know not to come to man anyway. They always know not to come to man. You know what I mean? Because I'm not into this religion business. I believe we have a creator. I believe I have my beautiful dear little angels. Of course I do. So I 160% believe in this, okay? And I've got my beautiful dear little spirit guides, plus I've got my beautiful dear little ancestors. So why do I need to go and join the flipping Jehovah's Witness now then? Or any other, for that matter. Now then, my delicious babies, but that's nothing against anybody else who has their religion. I'm speaking for myself. I'm a woman with a view. I should have my effing view, and that's my view for myself. Now then, so what he's saying is, what did he spend? He was talking about Marilyn Monroe. Oh, our lovely little Marilyn. He was talking about our lovely little Marilyn Monroe. He did a little video. Apparently, did it take him 14 or 18 hours to edit it or something? Well, I mean, to be perfectly honest, I wouldn't even go to all that trouble. You know, he's going to all of this trouble, bless. You know, not in that way, not in that way. He's going to all this trouble, Mardelistic babies. And at the end of the day, he's not really seeing much thanks for it, is he? You know what I mean? So what's the simple thing that I would do? Just do not do it. You know, I mean, I know that we all enjoy, which we do. I mean, I do. I mean, even though myself and YouTube, there we are, seem to clash quite a lot, Mardelistic babies, you know what I mean? But the fact of the matter is, Mardelistic babies, I just wouldn't do it. Simple thing. You know, why get yourself all worked up and stressed out? It seems to myself that for most, they had, you know, who managed to go that bit higher, and the ones who went a lot higher, okay? They've had good innings. Well, how many Mardelistic babies, you know what I mean? See, I believe what's going on here, and I was just over halfway through the video, so we'll listen just to the remainder of it. But the way that I see it is, Mardelistic babies, is like this, is that, you know, at the end of the day, what YouTube's trying to do is just make it basically, sorry, I've got to put you on pause, Mardelistic babies, thank you. I'm sorry about that, Mardelistic babies, sorry, my flipping eyes, Richie. Okay, Mardelistic babies, Ruby, please, baby, you know something, I don't know what's going on today, I've got my beautiful dear little Mercy Move, so she wanted to come back. I've got to be quick with my video, Mardelistic babies, okay? Because, you know, I do need to get other things done today, and I would like to go and sit out in the sun, Mardelistic babies, you know, this afternoon anyway, you know, while the sun's out, because I love the sun loves me, and then I've got little flipping Rubes, you know, wanting to play up, bless her. Right, so yeah, so I will listen to the rest of it, Mardelistic babies, but yes, you see, what YouTube is trying to do, getting back to mastering hand, right, because they're trying to make it so difficult, okay, that, like I said before, that one's leave, so that eventually all that you've got is the bull shark. There we are, the bull shark channels. That's what they want in my delicious babies, you know what I mean? Because for many, you know, would find it impossible. I mean, they are these days, my delicious babies, you know what I mean? Only from what I've been hearing, you know, and especially, let's just say over the past, there we are, especially the past 6 years. Okay, my delicious babies. So, yeah, I'll listen to the rest of his video. But yes, if you're wanting to try to make, you know, a living, which some channels do, bless, you know what I mean? But, you know, this is what I'm saying. It's not a level, what's the word I'm looking at? It's not a level playing field, is it? My delicious babies, you know what I mean? See, what ones need to do, I mean, I cannot do it. I mean, because quite frankly, I do not have a pot to pee in. And anyway, has it changed my life in any way? No. But for ones who've got a little bit of ka-ching, 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 surely to goodness, we could all find a way with everybody, just a bit of input. You know what I mean? So if ones haven't got any ka-ching, well, maybe they've got good ideas. They want, you know what I mean? For others, if they've got a bit of ka-ching, maybe trying to launch, there we are, some sort of other platform in somewhere. Because it doesn't matter which way you look at it. I mean, YouTube is the largest platform, isn't it? So it's the largest platform for, you know, to get news out, isn't it, my delicious babies, you know, as well as that Twitter, you know what I mean, my delicious babies. Well, you know, but I'm sure that if everybody, there we are, got the noddles together, there we are, I'm sure that everybody, you know, we could all come up with something. You know what I mean, my delicious baby? Surely to goodness. Because the way it's standing, my delicious babies, and quite clearly, this poor man now then is not the only one who's going through this. There will be many, my delicious babies, hundreds, thousands, there we are, going through this. Okay? Well, it just seems to myself that one's been held to ransom. Ransom. Sorry about the babies, I'm stumbling a lot here. You know, not in that way, not in that way, you know what I mean? Been held to ransom. That's how it seems to myself. Whether it be YouTube, whether it be Twitter, no matter what platform, you're held to ransom. Like even if you tried to on Odyssey, I mean, with who I advertise, you know what I mean? You know, the fact of the matter is their numbers just stay at the same numbers. It's very rare that the numbers will move. Do you see what I'm saying? Okay? And this is what I feel is happening. So they want everybody now, you know, you know, they want everybody mad to lish babies, you know. So in the end, we're just listening, there we are, to bullshit. So we're not really listening to anything else other than what they, there we are, want us to listen to. That's how I see it. But I mean, I hope that this man now then, you know, not in that way, certainly not. I hope that he sorts it out. But I wouldn't do what he's doing. I wouldn't do what... If all others want to edit, unless they've got their own .com, you know, their own websites, you know, the larger ones, my delicious little babies, for those cells, there we are, I can understand it. Or for ones who've got more colossal channels, you can understand it because, you know, they've got a real lot. So, I mean, I can never fully understand it, but I can half understand it. Do you know what I mean? But, so you do half understand that, you know, that they need to edit, you know, but me personally, I wouldn't do what he's doing now. Why go through all that? Because, you know, you're not happy about it. And bless him, not in that way. He's saying it on his camera, isn't he? He's clearly not happy about this. Well, you can just change it. Just do not do it. That's it. Because the way that it looks to myself, my babies, YouTube is like they're asking, there we are, for most the impossible. Because your video, put it this way, could be one of the best, you know, that everybody would laugh at, right? But it seems to myself that with YouTube as well, they do seem to have a strange sense of humour, don't they, my delicious babies? Because what you and I would laugh at, it seems that they do not laugh at. So, as far as I'm concerned, like I said earlier, it's not a fair playing field, is it? Level field. You know what I mean? But I do feel sorry for these uploaders who, they do try, you know what I mean? And, I really genuinely do. But that's my thoughts on it. So to the uploader, may never see this video, but if you do, or somebody else, who you know sees my video, please just do not worry about it, but do not go out of your way either. And I say it about any uploader. Do not go out of your way just to make these happy now. Just do, there we are, what you can do. Be kind to yourself. You don't need to be kind to these now then, isn't it? Okay? So now, they're taking the flipping merry piss, man. There we are. They're taking the merry piss. I just wouldn't do it. So don't worry about it, travels with Nick. I'm sure you'll work it all out, but maybe try not to spend hours upon hours editing for a company, a platform who really just couldn't give a shout about anybody, because if they could, then they wouldn't have kept information back 6 years ago from mankind in the world, if they cared that much. And then they have the audacity to do this to others. You know what I mean, my delicious babies? Yes. Now, finally, before I say my very last thing now then. So this one here, my delicious babies, happens to have 139,000 subscribers, and it's called Capital B Buzz with 2 Zs, and then space capital S story. So Buzz space story, that's the upload of my delicious little babies. This video is nearly 8.5 minutes long. Okay, my delicious little babies. And no, that's not coding. Okay, because that comes to 11. Okay, my delicious little babies. And the video should read, Saudi prince. We don't like this word, my delicious little babies, because we seem to hear an awful lot of it of late. Died at 29. Okay, my delicious babies, please note that number, 29, once again comes to 11. Okay, my delicious babies. So, I repeat once again, Saudi prince died at 29, yes. This goes back, my delicious babies, is it to last November 2025? And, well, what happened was this Saudi prince was suffering. Well, he had to go and book himself in because he was suffering with addictions, it appeared. And due to this, he booked himself in, or I don't know, somebody may have helped him, booked himself into a couple of places, my delicious little babies, okay, in order for him to get himself better. Well, it's come out now, only from what I've seen, it come up on my feed, my delicious little babies, okay. Well, it appears that the truth has now been said, but it took months to say, apparently, because I've got to be honest, my delicious babies, this is the first I've heard of it, okay. Well, the fact of the matter is, my delicious little babies, I was looking at the comments, and of course, only a few of them. And the way I see it is, if somebody is suffering that badly, that they feel that they need to go in somewhere, what was his laugh to where? Like, so I feel that ones really need to ask themselves that question. But the very strange part here is that the footage, which was showing the last, that doesn't mean no, the last time with footage, where he come out of his door, or I don't know, or something in the hotel. And then he was waiting by the lift, then you had another man who walked past. I don't know whether it's security or something. And so even just by the way that he was looking, like, I mean, I do not know what his personality was like, without quack quack going it. I wouldn't know, because like I said, this is the first time I've heard. So all I could really say here, for anybody who's in that situation, if this is what genuinely happened to this man, because when he was found, his hotel room door was locked from the inside. So if it is true what, has been said, it always seems to happen in the bathroom, doesn't it? You hear about celebrities. It always happens in the bathroom, or it's a door handle. Do you know what I mean, Mardlishtik babies? But I just thought I'd mention it. On this same video, Mardlishtik babies, mentioned about another Saudi prince where he got caught in a car accident, and then he was on a life support for 20 years. Well, our dear Gareth Hart, bless him, he was talking to somebody all way back now, Martelish Babes, because I remember mentioning it on one of my videos, where this man was, or was this woman was talking about, where they call it brain dead, or that you're on a, life support and that, and it's not necessarily true, Martelish babies. You know what I mean? But for the young Saudi prince, his dad refused to have the machine turned off. Because if you look at it, it's like you're in a permanent coma, aren't you? What do they call it? Is it an induced coma? Like where they just keep you in a coma. You know what I mean? So what this video is talking about is, where it's not all hunky dory tickety boo, is it? My delicious little babies. I just thought the age 29 was quite odd. You know what I mean, my delicious babies? That's all. It just came up on my feed. Now, finally, my delicious babies, let's close our books. We've got to remember to go backwards. So, finally, what I want to have a quick talk about, and then I'm going to be over and out. Just let me please and thank you. Have a sip of my coffee, please, and thank you. What's new, pussycat? Whoa, whoa, whoa. So, I was listening, Martin babies, to our lovely dear David Art, not in that way with anybody, as you know, apart from one. Our lovely dear David Ark and his lovely dear son Jamie, because they're all lovely dear Gareth and their lovely dear friend Richard and their lovely dear staff, work colleagues, friends. Well, and there seemed to be a problem with this man called, what's his name? Uh, Jason Breshear. Is it Breshear? Jason Breshear. Well, I mean, me personally, I've never heard about this man before. I mean, for others of you, um, well, maybe you have, but for myself, no. So I thought to myself, what shall I do? I thought, shall I have a look at this video? Shall I have a look for myself and hear what he's got to say? Well, for a start off, my delicious little babies, okay? I've never, unless he's came up on my feed, which I do not ever remember seeing a Jason Breshear come up on my feed. Well, I seen him for the first time, and he had his little friend behind him. You know, the one with the Mr. Magoo spectacles. You know what I mean? Who goes, yeah, 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 no, no. You know, one of those. You know what I mean, my delicious little babies? But from what I could hear of this video, because I listened to what our lovely dear David had to say, because our lovely dear David has decided to come off Twitter, you know, because at the end of the day, it's a very negative platform, isn't it, my delicious little babies? It's very, very, very negative, I feel. And I mean, you know, nobody will really, unless ones are just getting on with what they're getting on with, you know, on their channels, you know. But nobody would really, I feel, have many nice things to say. It's usually damn rank and disgusting and putrid, isn't it, my delicious little babies? Yes. So the way that I see it is, my delicious little babies, I thought, poor dear David. So he's done 36 years of helping millions upon millions, bless him. So bless you, dear David. You know, not in that way, not in that way. I mean it most respectfully, and bless you. I personally love listening to your videos and your dear sons and dear Richard. You know, like I just said, not in that way, not in that way with anyone apart from one. You know, I've just listened earlier to our lovely dear davidicke.com on his davidicke.com. He's talking to, I think it was Inspired on YouTube, my delicious little babies. I think they've got I did advertise them the other day, 9.34 million subscribers, my delicious little babies. And well, I love listening to our lovely dear David. And why shouldn't I? And why shouldn't other ones who love and enjoy their videos and enjoy reading dear David's books? So why shouldn't anybody enjoy listening to our lovely dear David or his lovely dear sons, their lovely dear friend Richard, bless? Do you know what I mean? But it appears this man, Jason Breshear, well, you know, he doesn't sound like a very happy little bunny. I thought I'm going to take a listen to this video. It was over a couple of hour long, my delicious babies, okay? Now, what he happened to be talking about, he seems to be having an issue, because I always tear calm in pieces, bits and pieces. So it seems to myself that he's got an issue with, that he feels that our lovely dear David has, what has he done? Has put things in a book or something, in one of dear David's books, and hasn't, which is to do with Jason Breshear or something, with what information he's given out or something. And then David has not given credit to Jason, right? Well, For a start off, what I've got to say here about this, I'm an outsider looking in, right? I do not know this Jason. I've listened to Dear David for whatever o'clock. There we are, for many, many, many years. Okay? So I may not have commented many years ago, but it doesn't mean to say that I never listened to him. There we are, because I did. Okay? And my point is, my delicious little babies, is this. Well, haven't, if you look at this over decades, haven't ones who wrote books or gone into a lot of research, haven't they, read other books or things like this now then, so that they can build up their information and as well as themselves learning, then to teach others. Okay? So that's first of all what I've got to say. There we are, I know what I'm talking about. Okay? So this came across to myself that Jason Brashear was not happy about this. Okay? So if he was not happy, if you're not happy, Jason, instead of the way you come across to myself, Jason Brashear, instead of putting our lovely Dear David art down, why didn't you at least, I'm pretty sure that Dear David has an email address or something, why didn't you contact, if you have contacted Dear David's email, then you have. So for that, I will say I'm sorry for saying it. But if you haven't, or even if you have, getting to the point, then even if you never heard the first time, maybe try it again. But to come on your camera now and really put this dear gentleman down, our lovely Dear David Ark, I just personally thought was, I've seen it as being, there we are, most disrespectful. If we look in the world, Jason Brashear, without any of us, yourself included, Jason Brashear, myself included, millions upon millions in all different countries, my country, our old England, and your country and other countries, without us even realising it, we have participated in fraud and in other things now then. Things and things to wear. Okay? So we never, I never needed to stumble here. We never got told about this. Well, rightfully stumbled there, but not stumbled for another reason. You know what I mean? But to say and to accuse our lovely dear David of everything, whatever you wanted to accuse him of, I actually see it as being damn rank and damn disgusting, man. You know what I mean? Come on. You're a grown man, isn't it, Jason Brashear? You're a big man. You're an adult. Surely, if you had something to say, you could have said it, in a polite and pleasant, there we are, way. You know what I mean? And then towards the end of Jason's video, towards the end of your video, Jason, then you did say that our lovely dear David Ark, that he got a lot right. But then you were saying, well, how could he be ahead of... because like David said, when I was listening to his video yesterday, Dear David, he's done, there we are, years and decades of research. Now, I'm sure that your field, Jason Brashear, I'm sure that in your field, you've also, over your years, I do not know how many, because I do not personally know you, and I do not know you certainly not, with your channel. So whatever research you've done, you're within your rights for your research, but I'm pretty sure that you wouldn't like it, Jason Brashear, if everybody was putting you down, in that nasty and dirty underhand, there we are, dirty underhanded way, you know what I mean? So I'm not saying that I know this man, that I know you, Jason Brashear. I've never even seen you. But I just thought that was, in my view, there we are, bang out of order. I feel that it could have been dealt with, there we are, in a very different way. And we must also remember, and bless dear David, just like his dear son Jamie said yesterday evening on David Icke's channel on YouTube. Okay, please take a listen, my little beautifuls, if you want to know what I'm talking about here. But that his dear dad, David Icke, is 74, yes. And he's still working, and he's still researching, he's still speaking, and he's still doing his books. When others would have retired by now. I just thought it was really, if you're upset, Jason, then you're upset. I just feel that you could have found a different way, Jason Brashear, to communicate with David, there we are, David Icke, in a much better way than what you have. I mean, okay, fair enough. You was mentioning that you had a hard upbringing, and things like this. Well, come on. Many of us have, but we do not feel a need to really pinpoint one dear gentleman now, especially one who has helped so many millions in the world, including myself. Because, when you're listening to our lovely dear David Icke, you are learning at the same time, and then you respect and appreciate all of the hours, all of the years, all of the months of research, all of the hard work that's gone into this. And for yourself, Jason Brashear, you know what I mean? For yourself, you've probably done, what did you say, you've done 20 years or something? The fact of the matter is, you too. But like I say, we get back to the same thing, isn't it? If one to talk about yourself like that, yeah, anyone can say, oh, I've got a thick skin and all that now then. But deep in your heart, you wouldn't like it. Do you know what I mean? So that's the way I've seen it. There was just no need. Just no need for that at all. Not in my view, anyway. I mean, I've come on to my videos, which I have. And then if I feel a need, there we are, to call, there we are, somebody out or something out now then I would do it. But I wouldn't go to, there we are, those kind of levels. You say what you're just going to be done saying it, and that's that. But, this is what I'm saying. I mean, one can say, oh, this one's working for the intelligence, that one's working for the intelligence, whatever they want to say. But when you really look at it, in a cold light today, even though it's a warm day today, if you look at it in the cold light today, who is anybody working for? Really? Who is anybody working for? I mean, for myself, as, anyone who's been very kind enough to listen to my channel, whatever o'clock, I can be trying. I could be really flipping trying, you know what I mean? But where I had all my spies for whatever o'clock, well, for the majority of those, if you want to be a spy for a start off, my delicious little babies, you have to get a proper badge. These badge things. Okay? But where does it go back to? Born in the USA. Okay? And if I wanted to be a spy, I could do that myself. It's all right, please do not worry. I've not gone off I've certainly not gone off the subject that I was talking about. There's a point to everything there we are that I'm saying. You know what I mean? So you'd have to pay for that, which is not a lot of ka-ching. Because if I wanted to, there we are, know exactly how to do it. Here we are. Okay? But look at all them spas, which of course Jason Brashear would not know, because he doesn't know myself, doesn't know my channel. You know what I mean? But the point of the matter is, who are all these working for? To spy on myself? I very much doubt that they're just popping up out of nowhere. You know what I mean? Because if you're a proper spy, you have to have that certificate. Here we are, to be a spy in the first place. You see what I mean? So, correct me if I'm wrong, and I'm not going to go around the mulberry bush with this, around the houses. The fact of the matter is this, everybody's working, there we are, for somebody. But the question is, nobody really knows who's working for who. So, without having, there we are, the proof, which admittedly you did say, Jason Brashear, that you did not have the proof. Admittedly, towards the end of your video, you did say that. I'm just looking at the overall. Okay? And at times on your video, you did come across as rather bitter, twisted and nasty, man. Here we are. You did. And of course, you kept going on and rambling on about a Stella Steel. I've never flipping heard of a Stella Steel. Anyway, this is all, neither here nor there. The fact of the matter is, I feel that it went, there we are, way below the belt. You know what I mean? Lord and a snake's belly. There was no need for all of that. The dear gentleman, our lovely David Icke, is 74 years of age. There we are at the end of the day. Now, you're a younger man, isn't it, Jason Brashear? So, I just feel that maybe if you look back at your video, you would be able to see that not everybody saw your video the way that, there we are, that you saw your video. And I'm not pointing at you personally, because to point is rude. I'm just asking you to maybe look at things, there we are, from a different angle. I mean, I do not know. Of course, I always listen to our lovely dear David Icke's videos. I always listen to our lovely dear Gareth, Jamie and Richard's videos. Of course I do. I do not know them personally, no more than I looked at your video yesterday evening to see what all of this business was about now then. I didn't know you either. But I just feel that there's just no need to treat somebody like that. You know what I mean? And that's what I'm done saying at the end of the day. So, whether you've had a hard upbringing, I've had a hard upbringing, believe me on this one, isn't it? My dear dad, an ex-army man. So I never had it easy myself, isn't it? But I didn't go around running me trap, running my mouth about a dear gentleman who's been around for decades and who's helped, there we are, millions upon millions to understand, there we are, our world better. Do you know what I mean? Now, I'm not saying that your videos, I haven't watched any other of your videos, Jason Brashear. I'm not saying that if I never watched any of them that I wouldn't find them interesting, or that somebody else, who doesn't know about yourself, that they wouldn't find it interesting. But what I'm saying is, it's the way you come across on the damn camera, isn't it? I just didn't like it. I mean, like, you then made a point, Jason Brashear, of saying, Gareth Icke, if it wasn't for his dad being David Icke, then he'd be a nobody. How can you say that? It's coming out your mouth, isn't it? It's coming out your trap. Not being disrespectful or nasty, but it is. But you cannot fully say that. You know, because dear Gareth, you know, not in that way, not in that way, he's into his music, you know, and his guitars, you know, and everything like this now then. So you cannot just say that because somebody's got a dear dad who everybody knows, that's the only reason why, why one's us out here know him. Because nobody can say that. And not only about dear Gareth, but anybody. It's just a case when you're looking in and, and you're hearing the video, and I made sure, there we are, I listened to all of it. But if you had an issue, like I say, you could have dealt with it, I feel, in a different way. It's the way it came across was very bitter. There we are, very, very bitter. And if you feel that, dear David, that, that as you were saying, that some of the information from yourself, whatever this is about, that's in his book or whatever that you were saying, if that is how you feel, you could have gone through different, there we are, channels to discuss, instead of, doing a video to make to try to make a holy show somebody else like that. And you're not talking about somebody who's a small name. Because for most in the world, there we are, everybody would know our lovely David Ark. So what is the other reason for this, Jason Brashear? That's all I'm asking, simple thing. I'm just asking, and if you do happen to see my video, I'm not saying this to be spiteful to you. I'm wanting you to see, there we are, from another angle, as how you could have dealt with that. Instead of having a pop at an elderly gentleman the way you have. But of course, words, that's not going to stop somebody like myself or millions of others who happen to really enjoy and love our dear David Ark, not in that way, not in that way. You know what I mean? It's not going to stop us from listening to his videos. So really, if you look at it another way, I just feel he hasn't achieved much. You know what I mean? And there was somebody in your who left a comment. It was so nasty and putrid that I was even tempted to leave a comment to that one. And I thought, no. I thought, because when I get started, there we are. I think when I get fucking started, you know what I mean? Lord in a damn snake's belly, man. Please take a look through. Jason Brashear here, sorry, do forgive me. Jason Brashear, please have a look. I'm pretty sure you'll be able to see the comment that I'm talking about. So that is what I've got to say, but I'll tell you what, I was very tempted. I thought, Lord and snake's belly. No need for that nastiness whatsoever. No need for it whatsoever. But of course, you do have some others do have them. Well, they need to check their damn selves for putting such nasty and spiteful comments. But there was one in particular, and it made my flipping. When I read it, I thought, you know what, I've got to stop my figure of speech, my delicious little babies. I thought, I've got to stop my flipping damn blood from boiling here. You know what I mean? Flipping boiling over. No need for that nastiness, man. That's what I'm saying. Why do this? Why? Why? Hopefully, there will be a thought, and hopefully, whatever it is that you're not happy about, hopefully this will get sorted out. There we are, in an adult fashion. There we are, in an adult fashion. But I just feel the way you went about it, I just do not feel it. You just come across as being extremely bitter. We can all have bitter moments. There we are. I'm the flipping queen of it. Do you know what I mean? If something pees myself off, I'll be done. There we are. I'll be done bloody saying it. But I certainly wouldn't put a dear gentleman down who's done all of that research, been banned from countries, and everything like that now then. I would never do that. Have I sat there and researched for 36 years and I'm 52? Have I done it? No, I haven't. And I'd never say that I have. But do I respect to my heart dear David Icke? There we are. Yes, I damn well do. And when I heard your nasty tongue, and you know what, you wouldn't be the only one. There'd be others on X, all sticking their flipping pennies worth in their farthings. You know what I mean? Their 2 pence worth. They all need to check the damn selves, because it's clear to ourselves throughout the history, I would say the majority have learned something, there we are, from our lovely David Icke. There we are, I would say that. But it seems to myself too many seem to have a very short memory. There we are, don't know. So maybe Jason Brashear, maybe you need to look back on your video and please take a very good look at what you were saying, how you were saying it. Yes, okay. If you're angry, you're angry. If you want to air your views, then air your views. But the way that you went about it did come across very bitter, Jason Brashear. I'm pretty sure this could have been spoken in a different way, that we are in adult fashion, not in a venomous way. And that is how I'm going to leave my video, my delicious babies. It wasn't even meant to go on this long. I'm very sorry, okay? It's just I don't like this kind of thing. Do you see what I mean, okay? And if you really look, you could have a number, okay? Probably ones who are not even famous, who are working for flipping intelligence, you know what I mean? But to just go and have a pop at one, there we are. It's just damn ring. There's just no need for that. I see it, there we are, as a form of verbal bullying. There we are. That's how I see it, okay? And really, it's not getting anybody anywhere, is it, at the end of the day? Because really, we're all supposed to be, there we are, rowing the boat in the same direction. Okay, nobody's not always going to get along with another uploader. It happens, doesn't it? It's ding, ding, dong, dong, common sense. But I just feel, nah, there's a completely different way of going around this, Sorry, excuse me, pardon me. A different way of going around it, not the way that I feel that you have, Jason Brashear. Okay, that's all that I'm saying. But I do not know yourself. You do not know myself. You could say about myself, well, who's this silly English bitch? Well, you can call me whatever you like, because let me just say, I personally, I can, there we are, verbally as well, give us good, there we are, as a guest, but I wouldn't even learn myself like that. Do you understand what I mean? Well, I can't, well, I'm not going to say I wouldn't learn myself, you know what I mean? But I just wouldn't even do it, do you know what I mean? And the only reason why you'd be a little bit pissed off with looking at what I've got to say is because somebody's really looking at bits and pieces of, there we are, of what you said, not going along with some of the comments, oh yeah, who was this, or, just being nasty. Because that's how sin it is, just nasty, a pit of nastiness. You know what I mean? There was some who never even mentioned dear David Icke, you know what I mean? But others, just nasty. And there was one really venomous one. Well, lower than a flipping damn snake's belly, man. And you cannot get lower than that. But do you know what? They still live their life, isn't it? Maybe something not so sweet and wholesome. I don't mean that I would do anything or anything like that now then, but they must be very careful about the words that they're putting down. Especially something, there we are, now then, as vicious and nasty as that. Okay? Because they're living their lives. So maybe they never know when they're going to have sadness, isn't it? You know, from when you do that, there we are. Well, you're tempting fate, isn't it? You see what I'm saying? I don't mean anything nasty by that. I'm just saying words are spells. And when you be nasty like that now, then do you know what I mean? Come back. That's the way I see it. There we are. That's the way I see it. You never see me put anything like, and put it this way, somebody put it back. Anyway, I'm not going to say no more about it. Do you know what I mean? Because I certainly wouldn't hold my effing tongue. Not at all. So, on that note, so that one needs to check the damn cell, check up from the neck up in my view. Okay, the one who was so nasty to put that comment. Anyway, so wherever you are in the world, whether it's morning, afternoon or evening, please have a super duper delicious time. You only get one life, my little honey bunnies. Sending peace, love, harmony and bright blessings to each and every one of you. May your beautiful little selves into your beautiful little families. May you all be fully protected. How I love you so. You're super duper wonderful, super duper delish, and I love you. But yes, I shall continue to listen to our lovely David Ark, you know what I mean? And his lovely dear sons, Gareth and Jamie, their lovely dear friend Richard, with anybody, like I just said earlier, not in that way, not in that way. Of course I will. But how many others in the world are also working for intelligence or also working for something else? Like I say, nobody knows who's working for who, do they? So that's the whole point I'm making in this. Apart from the obvious, which is that you could have gone around things a different way, Jason Brashear. There we are. You could have just done that. You know what I mean? So until my next video, my delicious little babies, you know what I mean? This is what I'm saying. It can get very nasty out there on these platforms. Very nasty indeed. But are ones really helping themselves by being that bitter? Not only Jason, could be a very large number of others. In the end, does it really help them? You know what I mean? Especially when they look back, I would say no. Anyway, there's always another way around. There's always another way of talking without feeling the need to be so venomous and putrid and nasty with it. That's all that I'm saying. Okay? I've said quite enough, actually. So you just take care now, my little lovelies. I'm just an outsider looking in. Love ya. Take care. Thank you. Love to our lovely David Ark, your lovely dear sons, your lovely dear friend Richard. Not in that way, not in that way, but bless you all. Okay, take care, and please continue to send out all this wonderful work. And for our lovely dear David, who I've just listened to on his video earlier, like I said, enjoy your gardening, dear David. Yes, I love it as well. I love planting flowers. I just don't like, but you've got to get the weeds up. But of course, weeds are good for us, my delicious little babies, you know what I mean? But they tell us to kill the weeds, you know what I mean? But so the weeding part, but that's very therapeutic, getting the weedings up and planting flowers. That's lovely and therapeutic. So bless you, dear David. It's lovely. It's very therapeutic for you. Sit back a bit now, do you know what I mean? Because you deserve that rest, I know you'll keep going, but and it's so lovely that you keep giving out lovely videos and all your books and everything. But, please chillax with it as well and enjoy your lovely gardening. Bless him. Bless our lovely dear David Icke. Okay, so take care. Love to you all. I do flipping ramble on sometimes. Love you. Take care. Thank you for listening once again. Goodbye.